This is a 55-gallon drum pump made to pump silicone or similar fluids out of a 55-gallon drum, open head drum. This little valve right here raises the pump and the follower plate up so that you can load the drum under it, and then come back down into the drum. That plate enters the open head drum. Turn the air on, it starts the pump operating and pumps fluid out through the hose. That's the real short version. Okay, now, step by step. We come up here, we have an empty pump that has new seals and packings in it and a bunch of air. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure the hose is not entangled in anything. We just stretch it out of the way. We're going to hook air up. The air hooks up right here. This has one of those Air King disconnects that most everybody uses. If you need to take it off and put something else there, feel free, but I think you've got these on your compressor hoses. This is a safety cable. You put this on your hose first, then hook your hose on here. This item is a water trap. As water builds up in it during the day, this will open up and spit water out. Okay, it's supposed to do that. When you kill the air at the end of the day, it'll open up, dump anything else that's left. So it's supposed to do that. Don't worry about it. This little item right here, this air regulator, controls the air pressure to the pump drive motor. We usually tell people to start at 60 psi and then regulate it up or down to get the flow rate that they want. These caps are removable if you pry the little ears out and take it off. If you get it where you want it and you don't want people messing with it, you can take that adjustment cap right off, put it in your toolbox. Don't forget where it is. Don't be calling me on Sunday. This valve turns the air on to the pump drive motor, or it turns the air off. Has a bleed hole in the back side of it. When you turn it off, it dumps the air that's in the drive zone. And that's just so it doesn't take 2 or 3 more strokes. And it doesn't do something you don't expect it to do. So when they turn it halfway and it's going out the back, it's supposed to do that. This is all the way open, all the way closed. Down here, we have an oiler. Look, there's a little view window here. That takes air tool oil. Anything that says it's air tool oil is acceptable. You can fill it 2 ways. You're supposed to be able to fill it under pressure by taking this little plug out. I'm not real thrilled with that concept. I just pull that lock down. You turn it until, just wash my hands too, until this thing lines up with that thing and it comes off. And that puts it back. Usually what's in here, it depends how much you're using the pump, could go anywhere from a week to a month where you have to refill it. Okay, this regulator controls the air to pick the pump up. Doesn't take much to pick it up. To come back down into the top of a drum, especially if you have new seals on here. These aren't particularly new, but when you replace them, you may have to go up as high as 100, 115 psi here to get those seals into the drum the first time. After that, go back to whatever was normal for you. And somewhere between 40 and 60 is what we consider normal. When it comes up, those seals are just great big O-rings. And you can roll them off of there with a screwdriver. So when they come up and make contact with this, then maybe try to come off. If you see that they're coming off, you can reach in and grab here and just pull this forward a little bit to let the seals go past that. Once there's a drum in there, then that's not an issue. It's just when it's like this and there's no drum there. So we're going to raise the elevator. That plate will come up about this high. We are going to make sure that this hose is not connected. I'll show you what that's for later. Take the drum and get the front edge of it on these two rails here. You get the front edge of the drum on those rails, one person can push it so it goes in and it'll sit up against this ring back here. I always tell people, don't grab a drum like this and move it around. Push it with your hands flat down here. We don't want to give that plate a chance to trap your fingers. I don't know when it's ever happened. I just tell everybody, make sure it doesn't happen to you. If you've got to get the drum to go that way, come around back here and push it this way. Don't grab it and pull it. When you take the lid off of a drum, pick it up this way, move it out, and then turn it. If you grab it like this and there's trash, dust, leaves, it's going to end up down in the drum. So just pick it up flat, move it out, set it down. Inside the drum, you're going to see a plastic bag all pulled up with a wire tie around it. And you try to cut that or clip it without puncturing the bag is the best plan. If you do that, you spread the bag out, pull it down over the top of the drum, get it nice and flat and smooth all the way around. Down in there will be a plastic sheet. You need to fish that out. You need to have a trash bag or something to put it in. If you've got nothing, take that drum lid, turn it over, get the sheet and drop it on there. Someplace to put it where you don't get silicone on your work area. Then we push the barrel in, make sure that the bag is tight. Lower this. As soon as that starts coming down and these seals contact the top ring of the drum, it's going to trap air underneath it. It will quit going down because that air makes a cushion. Got to go somewhere. So we are going to come around from this side. Is my preferred side, but you can do it from either side. Now I can stick my arm in here because the plate is already in that drum. I'm not going to trap my arm on it. I'm going to open that up and it will start moving down. As soon as I give the air a place to go, it'll start coming out here and go psst. Makes a hissing sound, you'll hear it. When you quit hearing it, you know that the silicone is up to here at least. It's stopped the air. Just close that. Try to not have a mess if possible. So now we got it going down. We got the air out from under it. This is going down position. Next is to turn the air onto the pump. It's going to start to stroke. If it starts going real fast, turn this way down. Go to 0 if you need to and start it up. When they have an empty pump, it acts differently. So we want to give it a chance to prime and get material in it. When it picks up material, it will slow down noticeably. When it pumps into the hose, you will see the hose start to straighten out. Okay, we've got that valve shut. That's as far as it can go. Then we're back here behind the pump again. This is a packing wrench and a bleed valve wrench. We need to put, there's a hole down here on the underside. We need to put a box, a cup, something right here where we can catch material that comes out. And you have to open this a turn and a half, maybe even 2. And the pump will start working, material will start coming out here. When it quits spitting air, stop. Close that. And Leave the wrench here, you can let it dangle, doesn't make any difference. Well, we're back here. We have new packings in here. Every time you change the packings, you need to come back here with this wrench and tighten up. Get it in a good spot. Okay, they're tight. Once a week, check these. And you do it with the pump turned off. If you start getting material building up in this well here, oh, speaking of that well, get some mineral oil. You can get that at drugstores, grocery stores. It's actually a laxative. Works real well as a lubricant in here. And we just fill that well with mineral oil. It keeps the moisture in the atmosphere from getting at the silicone that may leak. So it doesn't set it up, it just stays kind of gooey. And does a pretty good job of lubricating the shaft. And you can buy it wherever you are on the job site. There will be some place you can, you know, Dollar General.
Vegetable oil.
Yeah, not vegetable oil, mineral oil.
Mineral oil.
Mineral oil. Vegetable oil is a cooking oil. That we don't want. Mineral oil. So we have two kinds of oil. We got air tool oil and mineral oil.
Gotcha.
The next thing is to just open this valve. Make sure you got material flow. The very first time we have an empty brand new hose here. So we have to run it long enough. We aren't spitting and sputtering out there, and it may take 2 or 3 gallons of very expensive sealant. If you want to put it in the joint, fine. You're probably going to have to come back and fix some little spots. Or you put it in a box and throw it away. What else do we need to know about this? When you shut it off at night, all we're going to do is turn that air off. You probably are going to turn off your compressor because they don't leave them running all night. And there should be another air feed shutoff valve back at the origin of that hose. Typically, you know, close that, and we're good. The only thing we want to do is get a 3/8 inch pipe plug, hardware store item, or a 1/2 inch pipe cap, again, hardware store item. Either take this off or this off and cap it at night. And that's all you have to do. Baggies and duct tape sound like a good idea, they don't work. The material will cure up. We're trying to keep the material from curing up. This piece that you take off, you have a couple of choices. Let it cure up and then reach in there with a pair of needle nose pliers and pull the cured plug out, or keep it in a coffee can with mineral spirits in it, and it'll keep it from setting up. Then you just put it back on and push it out. You can do either one of those two. What else? Oil, when it's running and dispensing, you know, you're out dispensing a joint, take a look in this little window. There, oh, you can see the drop right now. I don't know why, but you can. You see a drop of oil right there?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little nipple thing in there, and that drop will form on there while the air is running through here, and then fall off. And then another one will form and fall off. We want that to happen about once every 2 minutes, maybe. Between a minute and 2 minutes. It's adjustable by turning this. And there are some numbers and a pointer here too. So if it's on 7 and it's taken 5 minutes to get a drop, turn it up to 8. If you got so much that it's starting to drip off the muffler, turn it back down a couple of numbers. This is the main air valve for the air motor. It's kind of expensive. It's like $750. Don't beat it with a hammer to make it work. We have 2 or 3 of them on our don't do this shelf. They're just all beat up. If you get, if this is working fine and you stop, take a break, move down the road to another spot where you're going to work, turn it back on and go to work. And the pump doesn't do anything. It just sits there. Turn the air back off. We're going to reset this valve. We're going to push it to one end of its stroke, push it to the other end of its stroke. Turn the air back on. 99 times out of 100, that will fix the problem. It's just that that valve has jiggled itself into the center while you were driving and bouncing down the road. That's all it is. So that's why those push buttons are there. If this push button has a little tiny C-clip on the end of it that captures it, I have seen them come off. If it comes off, this piece goes, and then the pump won't run. It'll get to one end of its stroke and it won't reverse because all the air is blowing out here. If that happens to you on a job site, take these screws out, take this cap off, take a business card, take a piece of gasket paper, something, punch 4 little holes in it right there, put it in there, put this back on. So we're blocking that hole, not letting the air blow out through that hole. The pump will continue to run.
Take this off and put a plug in there?
No,
Okay.
because that is some oddball size British straight pipe thread. And whatever you put in there will probably screw up the threads. So don't do that. It's better just to put a piece of gasket paper in there and block it. Yeah, it looks good. It looks like a good idea, but it doesn't work. So that's why I'm telling you about it. But you can, you know, that button is only there to reset the thing if it screws up. So we could just block it off altogether with a piece of gasket paper and the pump will continue to run. And then we get you a new push button later.
How do we clean out the hoses?
You don't. You leave everything in there.
Okay.
It's just not practical to clean the hose.
Fair enough.
You can leave the material in there probably as long as 6 months. I tell people who are planning on doing that, come out once a week, fire it up, run a quart or two. What we want to do is refresh the hose from the drum. The hose is the weak link in the system. You run a couple quarts out, shut it off. Another week, run a couple quarts, shut it off. If you are going to put it away for the winter, if you were a northern operation where you couldn't use it for 3 months out of the year, then I tell people to take those rubber seals off there, get an empty drum with 5 gallons, 10 gallons of mineral spirits in it, pump mineral spirits through the whole system, cap it off and store it that way. You're probably going to lose the hose, but you may not. That's how we tell people to deal with it in the wintertime. That's really all there is to it. It's a real simple piece of equipment once you get accustomed to it. Oh, changing the barrel. When it's empty, when we try to pick the pump up out of the barrel, it will pick the drum up with it. Just there's friction around that ring there. So we're going to blow air. Open that valve. Plug that on, open the valve, go in the up position. This line is only pressurized while this is in the up position. So what I usually do is I come up till the drum starts following it, and then I turn this on and push the drum back down. You can push so much air this way that these cylinders won't raise anymore. So then I shut it off, I let the cylinders raise a bit, and the drum comes up off the base that far. Open this, push the drum back down. And I just walk it up out of the drum like that. When you get up to the top and it comes out of the drum, if this is open, it will come up and set itself right back down. Because there is so much air going this way, there's not enough air to do this. And that's when people get in trouble because they've just reached for that barrel and they're going to grab it and pull it out of there, but the plate's coming back down at it. So just don't do that. When it gets up to the top, shut this off and disconnect it. It has to be disconnected to let the air out for the next drum. So just disconnect it. Don't leave it hooked up all the time like I see. Then this will be up, change your barrel. That's really all there is to it. I've got to get used to doing it. You know, it'll be halfway through the first day, whoever's doing this will be just happy with it. You won't, there'll be no more questions. It's only the first time that it's an issue.